Well, hello. We are going to get started on the power of headshots. People are going to trickle in, but I'm just going to go ahead and get started because it's 6 o'clock. My name is Alana Newman. I am the author of the Beauty First Method, Instantly Communicate Your Value, and I'm the founder of the Beauty First Method Speaker School. And I wanted to host this space to educate speakers, both established and aspiring, about the power of headshots. A lot of people think they know everything about headshots, but from the purview of a conference curator and organizer, I can tell you not everybody understands headshots and the strategies of crafting a good one, the etiquette of sending them out, and this spot is a gift for people who want to up their game. They want to get booked for more conferences. They want to get their message out there. Hi, Blue Lava. It's you and me right now, but this is going to be really educational. So stay put if you want information on how to craft a powerful headshot. Do you want to request being a speaker? You're welcome to do that. So I have in the notes, in the nest, I have some notes. Alana says live.notion.site, that one. Click on that and you can download the notes I have for this episode, for this space. So when I was a conference organizer and I was curating speakers, I had to discern very quickly if the speaker was someone that I wanted to include in my conference. And there's lots of, it's really an emotional decision, and you're scanning their website and you're scanning the internet and you're trying to decide, is this someone I want or not? And there's so many smart people with really important messages. But when you look at the way they present themselves online and in the information marketplace, they look like they don't take themselves seriously. And so I wanted to put together some tips because I know that there's people who have information that they want to share and a message that they wouldn't be sharing it if they didn't want to change the culture in some way, if they didn't have a better way of doing things. But they shoot themselves in the foot because they show up to the information marketplace unprepared and looking unprofessional. So headshots are kind of the first thing that I tell people in my speaker school that they need to invest in. And ideally, you'll invest in some professional photography with, so it's a real picture of you with natural lighting, and there's nothing, it doesn't look like AI, it doesn't look fake. However, I know that when I've had my professional headshots done, I have spent $1,500, $2,000, or even more to get exactly the look I wanted and get the pro photographer that I wanted. And not everybody has that kind of money. So I do think that there's room for AI-powered, cheating with the headshots and tools like PhotoLeap, and I think Aragon is one. There's different tools. You can look it up in the App Store. But if you can splurge on a real photographer, that'll help you so much in building a website, having a friendly look on the cover of your book or on the back of your book, and appealing to conference organizers. So when I was a conference organizer, I cared about my reputation, and I wanted to craft essentially, it was like my party. I don't have a Christmas party. I don't have a birthday party that's huge. I spent my time and energy on my conference, and that was my gift to all my friends and family and community and colleagues and people that I wanted in my world. It was where I invited guests and we got to hang out. And it was my job to craft an environment that was excellent and appealing. And as with most parties, there's dress codes. There's ways to show up and there's ways to not show up. And so you have to be careful who you invite to the party because you don't want to ruin the party and make everybody like weirded out. It needs to be a good energy. Everyone needs to be proud that they're there. And depending on the industry, you can go about it slightly differently, but there's some tenets, there's some patterns and things that you want to keep to. And one of the things is, if you look at the notes, for the courtesy of the editing team and the graphics team for conference organizers, you want to make your headshot Photoshop friendly. Photoshop friendly is essential because if you want to get featured in more places, in like the speaker guidebook and all the marketing materials, if you want to be promoted more, your Photoshop or your photo needs to be easily manipulatable, easily editable to comply or like fit into the style that the conference is going for. So a lot of people understand the concept of filters, photo filters and stuff. Like they understand there's modern style, there's just different type of artistic license that the conference organizers could take. And if you have a neutral enough Photoshop friendly headshot, you will show up more, which is good for you. You want your face out there if you're actually trying to change the world. So having high res, high quality, well lit, Photoshop friendly headshots will make sure that you get placed more. That's important. And the second point, if you look at the notes, is timeliness. I would have so many people come to pitch me as speakers to my conference, and they would be very, very last minute, or they would delay submitting their photos to me. Like, they'd say yes to being a speaker, but then instead of immediately submitting their headshot like they said they would wait until the very last minute. And not only was it frustrating, but it meant that they weren't promoted as much. It meant that they had the worst spot in the speaker book. They had no memes, I was not making digital assets for them, promoting their face because I didn't have a headshot from them to work with. So the best strategy if you're a speaker is to quickly, immediately, as soon as you're asked to participate in a conference, give them your headshot because you'll sell more books. Whatever your thing is, if you're a filmmaker, you'll get promoted more. It's just a really smart strategy. So in terms of, I have a third note. So in terms of appearance and approachability, people have different presentation topics and styles. And so it is important to come off as approachable and friendly. This could be the very first time the audience is meeting you. And so you want to be friendly. However, some people have presentations that are very sad, like they're covering a tragic story, or others are exuberant. They're like comedians. The facial expression that you choose in your talk should be kind of in the same vibe as your presentation, but friendly. So that's a really important point because you will attract more people to the conference in general and to your talk if you look like you don't bite. If you look like someone that they could actually approach, ask questions to, and be curious about. So that's number 3. Number 4 is appropriate dressing. So clothing is not a vain topic. People often, they don't want to think about clothes. They think it's superficial and shallow. Hi, Emily. We're talking about point number 3, point number 4, actually, on the notes. If you look at the nest, there is notes that you're welcome to copy and download. So appropriate dressing is critical for your headshots and when you appear in person in a conference. I have noticed a bad trend of people overdressing and dressing inappropriately for their headshots and promotional materials. And the mistake that they're making is they translate in their head like, oh, I want to look my best. So then they think like glamorous. I have this memory just stained into my mind of a woman who did a headshot in like a ball gown, thinking it was appropriate for her talk when it wasn't. What you want to do is you want to dress for the best day at your work. So if you are a nurse, you want to look your best, but in scrubs. If you are like a professional clown, you need to be wearing your clown costume. If you are a finance person, you need to be wearing a suit. It's got to be a nice suit. And it's better if you have a city landscape behind you. The elements of the photo need to convey to the audience how they might meet you in a work setting. Do not overdress. It'll confuse people, and it shows a lack of emotional intelligence, in my opinion. So, and if you've already have your website built and your personal brand built, and you have specific colors, try to pick out an outfit that has those same colors that's already on your website, because it will create uniformity in all your branding, which can be really powerful. Really, really powerful. Point number 5, in terms of hairstyling. So if you look at the notes in the nest, the power of headshots, I chose a man with very curly, wild hair and kind of a goofy expression on his face. And then at my pinned post in my profile, I have a picture of J.P. Sears, the redheaded man. And he's actually known in a lot of his videos for having really long, crazy red hair that's frizzed out and it's silly. But in his headshot, you'll notice that he basically like uses gel and gets it close to his head. There's no frizz, and he has it behind him in a ponytail. And that goes back to my earlier point, which was having an easily photoshoppable image that people can edit quickly, and they can pick out your face and your actual body and anatomy without frizz difficulty. And that is, I think, an essential. So if you have curly hair, getting it styled so that there's no flyaways and it looks neat and it's easy to Photoshop is really important and adds to the professionalism. Blue Lava, I'm going to invite you to speak if you want to. You can say yes or no. It's your comfort level. So number 6 in the notes is avoiding awkward props. I have received more headshots than I would like to, it's unfathomable to me how many awkward props that people use in their headshots. They'll have like irrelevant books and just props, like stuff that you would think would be in a Sears photo from the 90s. And shouldn't have to say this, but you should really minimize everything you can. So unless you have a lot of embellishments as your personal style, like if accessories is how you always are perceived, I would suggest minimizing accessories, having simpler clothing, blank background, and not too much going on. You want all the focus to be on your face, and you don't want to interfere with the styling and branding choices of the conference. You want to be kind of a neutral force with a friendly face going into, so you can kind of stand out but blend in. You need to both stand out and blend in. So number 7 is you really need editing tools. If you have a professional photographer, it's not going to be a problem. They're going to take care of it and do the Photoshop work for you. Photoshop is definitely the best tool to perfect your images and down to the last detail. If you cannot afford Photoshop and you need to do a headshot on like a phone, like an iPhone, there are user-friendly tools like Facetune where you can easily edit your photos, clear up your skin, kind of enhance the lighting, and using AI and enhancements. But it's really easy to overdo it with those products, and you don't want to look fake. It needs to look like actually you. But if you're on a budget and you don't know how to use Photoshop, that can be kind of a quick fix. So the product I like is called Facetune. Yeah, you can definitely speak. Hi, Lava. Blue Lava, are you there? Can you hear me? It says it's connecting. I guess I'll just wait while it's connecting. Okay. We're talking about editing tools and the use of AI. I'm worried that my tech is not gonna... It shouldn't be... Now you're a listener. Okay? Well, that's okay. I'm going to invite you to speak, assuming that you wanted to do that. Okay, editing tools. Like I said, Facetune is a really good one, but there's lots. It's kind of flooding the market with editing tools. Whenever possible, opt for a professional photographer. They really do, the good ones, they can make sure that the lighting and the angles are absolutely good. They can work miracles in terms of painting with light. And this really is kind of the cornerstone of a speaking career. You will not get booked if you don't have photography, and you're much more likely to get booked if you have good photography, which is why we're doing this space. And number 9, you want consistency in branding. So the headshot that you do choose, it should align with your personal brand and the way that you present yourself in professional contexts. It should demonstrate who you are and what you're going to talk about using visual communication tools. So if you study like certain religions and iconography, like I'm Catholic, so we have the saints, and each saint is depicted with symbols that say something about who they are and what they did. So Saint Therese of Lisieux, she had this book, and there was a lot of flower. She mentioned flowers a lot in the book, and so she's always depicted in icons with a rose. And Saint Francis, he's always depicted with animals because he had such an important. He taught theology in regards to nature and harmony with creatures and little things like that. In your visual communication, we need to know who you are and what you're about immediately. That's the power of the headshot, is it immediately explains what you're about and if you can be trusted and if you seem friendly or not. So when you do craft your headshot, tell us who you are using fashion and lighting and hairstyling and all the expressions, and then find the shot that best represents you and make it consistent over all your social media profiles. So have that everywhere. Have it on your website, have it on your Twitter, have it on your Instagram, have it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Mastodon, Threads, put it everywhere. So that when people go to all of these different platforms, they know it's you. There's a confidence there, and they take you seriously, and they know that you take yourself seriously. Number 10, you want to understand your audience. So you need to tailor your headshot to resonate with the audience of this specific conference or event. So this might mean altering your expression, your attire, or your backdrop, but it needs to align with the expectations of the attendees. And so, hey, Wendy, how are you? Welcome. We're going to have a recording of this, and I have notes in the nest. So if you go up on the notes in the nest, click that, and then all of this is there. So right now we're talking about understanding your audience. And just like the bald eagle and the red, white, and blue, those flags, they're symbols that represent a nation and a culture. And the rainbow flag represents the LGBT culture and lifestyle. Like there are little subcultures and niche understandings of your audience that it would behoove you to be in tune with. And that could be hairstyles, that could be colors. Hi, Wendy. You're welcome to turn off your mic or turn on your mic and say hi. And I'm glad that you're here. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, you said hi to me initially and I couldn't speak. So I had to repeat. I was like, wait, I can't say anything.
I'm sorry. I would have, you could get automatic speaker status anytime you want with me. Here, it just wasn't fast enough.
Oh, no worries. What do you want me to repost to get this out?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, if you want to just repost the space in general. I know it's a slim crowd. I think Tuesday there's a lot of things happening on Tuesday night, but I'm gonna make this a podcast episode too. So all the information is gonna go out. This is gonna be something that lives on several platforms. So I just want to make sure that our people are doing headshots right, because when I was a conference organizer, I had headshot problems with people. There's it's it can be extraneous to learn the details of like how to do it right. And I think that headshots are really important because in the information like war that we're in, it's we can write and we can tweet and we can express ourselves through writing, but there's something really special about the energy that we deliver through just an amazing photograph or a friendly photograph. The energy. Hey Harry, I'm glad that you're here. I think that the energy that we give off with a headshot is just automatically powerful. And you notice that our people don't hide like our philosophical enemies do. Um, and that's powerful in itself. Like people notice that, okay, these are the people who are willing to put their face out. These are the people who are willing to put their face and name by their words. And in the, information war and in the marketplace of ideas that we're in, that says something really powerful. And when we show up and we don't have Guillain-Barré syndrome and we don't have, like angry faces, like we're more at peace and it expresses something instantly powerful. And I'm glad to see that the space is filling in. You guys are so welcome. I'm excited to have you. We're talking about headshots and we're sharing headshots. We're laughing at headshots. This is about maximizing our free speech by attracting people into conversations with us. That's a huge part of it. So I put together a website for you guys. It's up in the notes, or it's up in the nest. It's all my notes. And you can just take this and grab it and then go if you don't want to hear me talk about it. But I am going to explain all these points because people do judge you and they judge your information based off of looks. And I was always putting together digital marketing materials, and I had to convince people that my speakers were worth listening to in a split second. And so having a really friendly, good-looking headshot, it does so much heavy lifting in terms of getting people in the room so that they're willing to have a conversation with you, so that they're willing to hear you out. And there's a lot of technique behind crafting the perfect headshot so that you maximize those opportunities. So I already went through like 1 through 10, but the kind of like the big idea between those first 10 is styling and being Photoshop friendly. Like when you're becoming a professional speaker, and that's what I want people to do, is I want them to be pro. I want them to take themselves seriously so that other people will take you seriously, and so making sure that the conference organizers have a Photoshop friendly file and that'll help you get your word out faster, because the conference organizers, they will make memes out of you. They will put you on the front page. They will blast your message and quote you and make beautiful, like you guys are the information sources. There's artists out there, and I consider myself one of them. I don't have these really insightful, smart things to say, and I wasn't out there on the front line saving people, and I wasn't like doing data, but I have some artistic skills and graphic skills, and I can make you guys look like rock stars. But you gotta give me something to work with, and Photoshop doesn't fix everything. But if you give me a Photoshop friendly file, and you're well lit, and I don't have to figure out all the frizzy, what do I do with your frizzies and stuff, like get your hair gel so it's slick and smooth, just like JP Sears in my pinned post, my current pinned post. I've got JP Sears on there, and there's a reason. Is because he has got wild, crazy red hair, and it's frizzy in every single video he has. But when he did his headshots, he slicked it back, put it in a ponytail, and now anyone who works for like a publication or a conference, they can just like in a split second take his image, Photoshop it, put it anywhere they want, put it in any marketing materials they want. And I'm positive, I'm telling you, I promise you, he gets promoted more because of it. The people with wild, crazy, frizzy hair, it's just too hard to work with. So they don't get promoted. They don't get seen. So yeah, and I really believe that headshots are more important than logos. So a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, I need a logo for my initiative. But really, personal brands are a lot more powerful than kind of just logo non-person organizations. People trust people. They don't trust corporations or people trying to be corporations. And so having your face, having a good photograph of your face, and then making it consistent over all your platforms, it adds trust. It gives people confidence that, you know, this person takes themselves seriously. They look really friendly. They look trustworthy. They look smart. I'm going to follow them. And then they're going to follow you on all the platforms because you're consistent on all the platforms. And you hate the word personal branding, but if you want to have traction with your message, if you want the word to get out and stay out and develop these relationships that last years and years and years, having that consistency is important. So, all right. Number 12 on the list of stuff, and you guys can just speak up, ask a question or comment, and be like, no, Alana, I think you're wrong. Or like, you know, give me an example. We can talk about it in the comments and stuff. But number 12 in my notes, it's expressions of confidence and sentiment. So you got to get your facial expression looking confident. If you are telling the truth, then have a confident look on your face. Like, we need to know that you are telling the truth and you're confident in it. And so you can be, depending on your personality, you can be subtle about it. But the features of confidence is definitely eye contact. A lot of people will have headshots where they're looking out off the camera, and it can be friendly and it can, like, you know, light up their face well. But if possible, look into the camera like you're looking into the person's eyes and piercing their heart with your eyes. That shows confidence. That shows someone with emotional talents. You're paying attention. You're listening to them. There's a relationship there when you're looking at your viewer in the eyes. And then if some people have tragic stories and some people are more like exuberant and they have different styles. Like, there's comedians out there, and when they present in presentation or they're doing a talk, they're hilarious and they add energy and they're bubbly. And then there's people who have really sad stories, really bad information, unfortunate information to tell. So it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to have headshots that's bubbly and effervescent but like when they go to hear your presentation, they're going to be kind of put out by it. Like, it's sad. So there's an approachability that needs to be there, but it also needs to match the topic that you'll be presenting on. And so there's that. And then number 13, background becomes really important. That goes into the being Photoshopable. So do not have leaves and patterns and craziness in your background. That's going to make you much more difficult to Photoshop and place into materials. You want to be neutral so that you can blend in with the marketing materials that the conference organizer is already planning, or go on a website that's not your website. It's much better to have a neutral, either white or kind of like gray background, or something that makes it's easy to take your face and your anatomy and pop it into a different setting. Number 14 on the list is consistent brand image. So make sure that your headshot is consistent with other personal branding materials. So if you already have a book, or if you already have like digital products, you don't want to be too different from that either, because people need to, the same colors need to be there, like, you know, the hex colors, the very, very specific colors that you have on your branding. If you can make those consistent, if you look at musicians, really big in music marketing right now and personal brands of musicians is colors, bright, bold colors. This is why Billie Eilish had green hair, like lime green hair. She had that lime green everywhere. It was in her concerts. It was in her marketing materials. It was on the music videos. It was in the typography. It was everywhere. Likewise, a big star right now is Olivia Rodrigo, and she has this light purple, like a lavender purple, um, everywhere, and it's called the Olivia Rodrigo purple now. Which, when people see that and they see kind of this pattern, and they're scrolling through their feed and they see a big bright color that's like your color, that can be an automatic indicator that, you know, it's confidence building. It's a thread. It's a calling card. It's a way of developing a relationship with you and your information. And I noticed that a lot of speakers, especially in our movement, they typically rest on red, white, and black. Like, it's the default kind of go-to color combination. So my challenge is to individuals who, you know, they're not designers, they're not really into the picking colors part. There's a lot of tools out there, and I'll put it in. I don't think I put the exact tool in the notes, but I'll share it. There's tools that can help you select colors, and they can color combinations. So you don't have to think about it too much, but it'll be something different than black, white, and red. It'll be a very specific hue that's not overused, and color combinations in general. So, and infusing them through all your social media platforms and website and books, I think is a really smart move. So number 15 in the notes, quality of the image. The quality of the image is huge. You won't be promoted and used if you have a pixelated image. That goes again with hiring a professional photographer to do your work. So people will do large format prints oftentimes for conferences. They do, you know, they actually print the materials. Sometimes they even have huge banners or big posters promoting their speakers. And if you don't have a high resolution photo, you will not be included in those promotional materials. And you might not even be included in the conference, because there's a certain standard that people rely on in order to make the event a success. I would suggest portrait mode for all your headshots. Portrait mode works best with most marketing materials. You don't need to have your hands in there. It needs to be a bust. Your face needs to be front and center, and the eyes especially cannot be pixelated. They have to be in focus. It is so important that the eyes are in focus. Natural lighting, of course, is really important. I won't work with people who have headshots with bad lighting. It messes up the whole marketing materials of the conference, and I just decline to work with them, honestly. So iPhones these days are really good at capturing light. I can't imagine anybody here doesn't know someone with an iPhone. If you're just now getting started as a speaker and you want kind of an affordable entry, just make sure that you're using the golden hours. So that would be early morning light or kind of evening light, midday, high noon headshots. Don't work. You're not going to look good. The photos will turn out really bad. And then if you can, having a couple options is really great. I mentioned before backgrounds. So there will be some conferences who have a light or white colored kind of schematic for their design materials and marketing materials. And there will be some conference organizers that have darker color themes. And really, if you can bring the goods in terms of variations on your headshots, they will love you. The artists will love you. They'll boost you in all the promotional materials. If you can hand them something that was easy to work with and you look friendly and you look good and it makes the conference look good, they will put your face everywhere, which is what you want. So having different options and then having transparent background, so it's just your face, just your bust and no background. That's also a really nice. You're kind of helping them skip a step, like you're helping them so save them from work if you have that option too. And let's go back to attire. So attire for your target audience. You need to tailor your attire not just to your professional norm, but also to the expected audience. So if you're talking to a design conference, you need to be more creative. But if it's a very corporate event, like you need to be wearing a suit. Do not overdress. I was talking about this before, but I've noticed that some people overdress in their headshots and they overdress when they're going to a conference, and it reeks of lack of emotional intelligence, and it doesn't make their message more credible. It takes away credibility from their message. It distracts from the credibility of their message, which you don't want. But clothing is a form of expression, whether you like it or not, and it can say that I respect you and I'm showing up for you and I value your attention so much that I don't want to be rude with my appearance. Or it can it really does say a lot about you. And if you have trouble with this, the reason that they have professional stylists is because some people really need it. And if you know that you just do not have a clue as to how to dress for the job of your dreams, being on stage, being on camera, to participating in documentaries and being able to really make your message just take off, hire a stylist. That's their job. They're really good at that, and they can help you clean up your look because it adds credibility not only to you. Here's the thing. It's not just adding credibility for you, it's adding credibility for your movement, for all of us. The way you represent yourself doesn't just represent you, it represents all of us, the community, the tribe, the philosophy that you are promoting. So as a courtesy to us and your friends, take that seriously. All right, number 19 on the list. Hi, Bruce. Hi, Alex. There's notes in the nest. We're talking about the importance of headshots. Obviously, take a look at that, download it. Number 19 is feedback from colleagues. So sometimes getting a second opinion can be valuable. It is not vain to care about your headshots. You are not superficial. You are not too concerned with your looks. You are representing a culture. And out of respect for the people who are also in that culture with you, you are representing us on some level. And so getting feedback from members of your community and just saying, hey, do you think this is the right choice? What would you change about this before I publish it out to the world? I think it is helpful to do that. Okay, my notes just went dead. Hold on. So I chose JP Sears and that like Glamour Shots woman in my pinned post to just give an automatic idea that headshots can be done really wrong. And so I use an extreme example of someone who does not, the woman on the right does not exude credibility. But that's a headshot. It qualifies as a headshot. And I want our movement to take this more seriously. And I want us to put our face to our name and put our face and our name next to our message and show that we are proud of who we are and we are proud to be associated with each other and we stand by the information that we're sharing. That's what this is about. Are you willing to put your name and face on your message? Yes or no? So this needs to be pointed out. This happens a lot with older people. They don't like the fact that they're getting older, and so they would rather use the headshot from 15 years ago than showcase how they're looking now. But it's very important that your headshot looks like you, and when you do show up to give the talk, when you do show up to be on the documentary, it's not too big of a difference. It needs to be updated. If you change your look in an extreme way, like you used to be a heavy metal rock star guy and now you're bald, like you need to update. That's a choice. Great. Update your headshots. It needs to look like how you look. And then lastly, there's identity obfuscation tools. So one of the things that our movement wrestles with, the health freedom movement wrestles with being basically a fear of visibility. So there's a lot of doxing. There's a lot of people getting punished for speaking the truth. And there's trolls and they get harassed. And so understandably, there's a certain level of fear. And when you're like going up against the machine and you're criticizing the deep state and you're talking about criminals and you're embarrassing people, obviously there's going to be a natural fear of putting yourself out there. So I want to make you guys aware of a tool called DID. I didn't put the link in there, but I will. So DID, is an AI tool developed to just obfuscate your identity just a little bit, so the metrics are different. And this is important when you live in a day and age where criticizing the king gets you in trouble. But you still need to speak out, because otherwise, we all suffer. Everybody suffers. But you can use image obfuscation, identity obfuscation tools to change things up, protect your identity, protect your family. Those do exist. And those are all my notes. Alex and Bruce, I see you guys, you got in here late. I want you to take those notes that are in the nest and take them home and ponder them. And you can ask any questions if you want to. I'm going to invite you to speak. So if you don't have any questions, I'm going to end the session. So make sure you take that notes. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Happy Tuesday. Thank you, Alex. Thank you guys for being here. Good night.